In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to use and how to not use orders of protection in a divorce case. My name is Bobby Buchanan, and this is Illinois Divorce TV. Let's dive in. So, what is an order of protection? An order of protection is a very special order in Illinois that is given to victims of domestic violence. And what that order does, in your most typical example, is that it says that the abuser cannot come in contact with the abused. It usually has an exclusive possession clause in it, meaning it has a part of it that says the abuser has to stay away from this house, the abuser has to stay away from this place of work or this school, has to stay away from the abused, so they can't even be in contact with them. It can also, and very commonly, have a component in regards to children. So the abuser cannot be in the presence of the children, cannot have any contact with the children. Now, why is this order so special? Why is it different than other sorts of orders? Well, other sorts of orders are civil in nature, meaning that if you violate them, there's usually going to be a financial penalty to it. With an order of protection, it is criminal or quasi-criminal. So if you violate it, you can be arrested. So it's a very powerful order, and the police will enforce it, unlike a civil order where the police don't get involved. Usually with a parenting order, a parenting schedule, the police might come, the police will come if you call them, but unless you have an order of protection, they're not going to get involved in whether or not the child should go with mom or dad, or they may, push things in one direction or the other, but there's not going to be an arrest that comes out of it. 99 times out of 100, they're going to say, you need to go back to family court or you need to get a lawyer to resolve this. So this order of protection is this very powerful tool that can be used in court. But I don't like to use the word used, because if you use it, if you don't have a very real reason for getting it, if there's not actual provable abuse, and you go and get an order of protection and a judge gives it to you, and you get the other parent kicked out of the house, kicked away from the kids, and then it comes out later that maybe you went to court and you fabricated things, or you elaborated, that you embellished, and that there really isn't an issue of abuse here, that is going to be very problematic for your case. And you are going, because judges are, they weren't born yesterday, and they see hundreds of custody cases every day or every week. And a very common thing that happens in these cases is that people use orders of protection because they are relatively easy to get. And that is a good thing and a bad thing. One, you want victims of abuse to be able to get orders of protection easily. Of course you do. But at the same time, that's a double-edged sword, because people who are willing to abuse the system can go in and sometimes get an order of protection that they shouldn't be entitled to get. And these orders of protection come ex parte and in an emergency fashion. Ex parte means that the other side didn't even get any notice of it. They don't get to say their piece in court. You just have one person going to court and talking to the judge and saying, this is what happened. I was abused. I'm afraid. And so this other person needs to be ordered out of the house and ordered away from the kids. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you have this order of protection that gets served on you. The sheriff comes to the house and says, you have an order of protection. You got 5 minutes to pack your bags and you need to get out. At that point, you got to go hire a lawyer. That lawyer is going to charge you probably $2,500. If they're an experienced lawyer, closer to $5,000 to resolve this order protection issue. And it is going to blow up the entire case. And if you're the person who brought the order of protection and it then comes to light that maybe this abuse that you talked to the judge about wasn't abuse per se, but maybe was just a mutual disagreement that you and your spouse got into. At this point, what's going to happen in the case most likely is that there's going to be a guardian ad litem involved, or a child's representative. These are attorneys that, again, are as experienced as judges usually and have seen both sides of these orders of protection. And they might start drawing the conclusion that the problematic parent is not the quote-unquote abuser, but is the other parent who is alienating the children from the other spouse. So you have to be very careful as to when and how to use an order of protection or to get an order of protection. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of victims of abuse, and the orders of protection are extremely useful tool for them to use, and sometimes the only route that victims of abuse, true victims of abuse, can go to protect themselves from very dangerous situations. And do not mistake my advice here of not misusing orders of protection with some sort of notion that orders of protection are not appropriate in certain circumstances. If you are a true victim of abuse, if you need to protect the children, then by all means, you need to go get that emergency order of protection. But if this is just a situation where you're trying to gain an upper hand in a divorce or custody situation, then you need to think twice and think 3 times about whether or not you want to walk into that court and start telling the judge about this situation that you think entitles you, or you don't even think entitles you. You're just using the orders of protection to get leverage in your custody case. Be careful. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications of when we have new videos coming out. Leave a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on this. Ask us any questions or give us ideas for more videos. And we'll talk to you soon.